Hey friends, so for today I was going to start for Stretch the Sketch with this sketch, and you know what we do. We take a 12 by 12 sketch and we turn it into a different size, which therefore is stretching the sketch. Like instead of just 12 by 12, you can do 8 by 8, Traveler's Notebook, whatever your thing is. And I'm going to continue going on and doing mine in a 8.5 by 11 on the landscape. And I'm going to use this kit. I had put a bunch of kits together a while back for part of my spending freeze in Nicole Jones' class. As part of my spending freeze slash the Scrap-a-thon, Nicole Jones Scrap-a-thon. So I can get one more layout out of this mini kit I put together. So I'm going to go ahead and use it. And what I think I'm going to do this year I'm going to try to, is I'm going to do 8.5 by 11 on the landscape, but it's going to be folded because I'm going to do kind of a reading goal for the year. I'm going to try to read 100 books. And I thought if I went ahead and prepared it ahead of time, I might get a little bit of traction in, doing my layout ahead of time, and then I can go ahead and note what I've read, haven't read, and all that kind of stuff. So that was my thought process. Now I only have this one full sheet left. So the cool thing is it is double-sided, and since it will end up being folded, it'll have a cool backside. So I'm going to go ahead and cut this into 8.5 by 11. I told you this is the Ever So Cool sketch. It has some mixed media drippy bits kind of stuff in there. It looks like a little print tone on tone. Not really sure, but I do like the idea of kind of like a tag clothesline kind of thing to write information in for books. So for the foreseeable future with my Stretch the Sketch, I'm going to be, stretching the sketch, using the sketch, but I'm actually going to be creating like Traveler's Notebooks to work through. And as long as I keep up with it, I will show you what I did. But I thought this would be a really good way to do that. So this is going to take me a while because I'm trying to get my thought process. So I'm going to go ahead and fast forward the next bits and take you along with me. Here we go. All right, so I went ahead and cut that full sheet of paper I had into an 8.5 by 11. Full disclosure, I had one of my cuts off by maybe like a 1/4 inch. It was really wonky, so I had to fix it. Anywho, and now I'm going through and taking a look at which of the pattern papers that I have that I think will work with this. I did cut out that little Dream Like a Unicorn piece because I liked the pop of the aqua that, on top of that really bright yellow. I like that green piece. So yeah, I just grabbed a couple pieces that I kind of like the look of. And I'll put 2 of the squares on one side and 1 on the far left side is how I believe this ends up. And it's kind of great. Like I am able to use a little bit of mixed media, which we haven't done for a while in Stretch the Sketch. And, the twine and all that kind of stuff. So you can definitely see that I was inspired by it, but it's not exactly going to be spot on. I went ahead and sprayed some Tattered Angels Mist in Black Magic, and I'm just using the bottom of this paste that I have to create these little circular areas to kind of mimic like a coffee cup. And my thoughts with that is, there is a circle that's kind of like that on the layout, but chances are, that if it's during the day and I'm reading, I have a coffee nearby. So that kind of worked for me. And then I thought I would use those same circly bits as a place to put the drips like you see on the inspiration piece. So I'm going to go ahead. I decided I didn't want the drip to go all the way down to the bottom, and that was happening when I started to do that on the second little circle. So I went ahead and soaked up a little bit of the extra and recreating the same thing, just getting little drippy bits on all 3 circles. I went into my black color drawer and found a piece of this black and white twine that I'm going to use for what we'll call like the clothesline little bit. And I wanted to have little bows on the end because they happen to be quite cute. So I went ahead, which took me 2 times, and went ahead and tied a couple of bows on this. And I'm going to go ahead and use liquid adhesive in order to get that twine to cooperate. I was trying to decide how I wanted to attach them down because I didn't want to use like those clothespins that stick up a lot. And I'd recently picked up these cute little clips at Tuesday Morning, so I thought I would use 3 different ones. I have a set of eyeglasses, which I thought works for kind of a reading layout. There is a cute little lemon and an arrow. So I'm going to use one of each and just kind of attach my paper down, attach my twine, and then I'll go ahead and clip those little pieces of paper to the twine. And yes, I'm going to clip them all together, and I really like the way that it turns out. Okay, that is all situated, and now I have these really great like holographic silvery, it is foam with cardstock on top, these little letters, and I'm going to go ahead and get the word read down. I figured that would be fairly simple, and I had the correct letters for that. Now these letters are super cool, and I love them, and I just saw them a few days ago this past week at Tuesday Morning. So if you are digging on those, see if you can go to your local store to pick them up. They were like $2.19 a package. I didn't get them because I have a couple packs of them, but they were there. Now this kit also has these great little, well, they're kind of like washi tape, but not quite. So I went ahead and used the gray cloud stuff in, they're like 3 or 4 inches long. And I went ahead and used the full strip, a tiny piece on the green plaid and a little bit larger piece below the word read. This kit also had these awesome superhero type little stamps, and I decided to take out my black StazOn. I usually like to use a darker charcoal, but I went with a full black because I had the black mixed media on this as well as the black twine, so I thought I could go with something a little bit harsher. And they're just kind of whimsical stamps. I didn't use the superheroes, just the nice little like inspirational word bits on this. And I did go ahead and use one of the phrases on top of the washi. I wanted to see how it worked, and it did. I mean, it definitely was going to smear if I didn't let it sit long term, but it ended up cooperating really nicely. So the part, you see it right there, it says you are, and then the next word I will use, I believe, is awesome, and it's a much bigger word. So I'll be finishing this layout up with just some fun little cute pieces. These are puffy little words. I mean, how great is that? And I think the brand is Rosie's, and they're really, really cute. They're not super sticky, so if you have them, you might want to add just a little extra adhesive on them. But they are cute and whimsical, and I'm able to get them in a couple places on the layout. I checked out these hearts. The colors aren't quite right. There's a really nice gray, but the other tone is kind of in the really light mauve-y pink kind of thing. So that wasn't working. I'm going to use these, I think it's Zotz brand, the minuscule little glue dots, and get a few of these red sequins on. They're red, but they're also like slightly iridescent as well. And I have a big old package of them, so I don't know how I'll ever be able to use them up, but I am using them kind of as if they were enamel dots on this layout. It's one of the things that I like to do with them, and this year I'm really going to be working hard on trying to get some traction with my sequins collection because it just seems to grow and grow. It's really hard for me to use up a package. Now, this kit also had this Click Kit Club exclusive, like they're like punched out confetti bits, and some are like a clear acetate. And then you also see some that are silver, like it's just like silver metallic cardstock paper. So I thought I would get a few of those on. The silver works perfectly fine with the word read, since it is that kind of a look. But I also really was feeling this really nice blue tone. So I pulled that in. You can see some of that blue tone in the word unicorn, and this whole kit that I had was rather bright and rainbowy kind of thing. A few little drippy bits, splatty bits in this Black Magic Tattered Angels Mist, and it's just about done. So I'm gonna see if I can keep up on this with like as my little reading journal, and hopefully take you along with me. And yeah, and so I'm gonna leave the links below for everybody else's layouts that took part this month, and we will see you soon.